Must be pretty happy to be coming home tonight.
Yeah, we are. It has been a really enjoyable week away. I think we sort of, at the start of last week, we made a real conscious effort, both players and staff, to make the most of the time away that we had together and make it a positive environment and an enjoyable environment. So obviously things like trivia nights and, we had some Olympic competitions and that sort of thing. And I think that really showed in the way that we played on the weekend. We played, really positively and with a lot of energy. So whilst we're definitely happy to be coming home, we also made the most of our time away.
Does it feel like you turned the corner in that regard, Ryan? Because the talk early last week was that you were, lacking a little bit of energy, and that seemed to come back on the weekend.
It definitely did on the weekend. I don't, that's just 1 week for us though. We've probably, prior to that, we probably had a month of some pretty up and down footy. So, we've got a lot of confidence from the weekend, but we certainly don't think that it's just going to keep happening for us. The competition is so even at the moment, and every team seems to have a lot to play for. So, hopefully we can replicate what we did on the weekend, but no guarantees. We need to make sure that it happens.
Fags mentioned on the weekend that you had sort of some of your best training sessions last week in terms of intensity and that sort of thing. Do you think that balance between enjoying the time with each other on the road is part of that? Is that you were able to focus on the football when the football needed to be focused on?
Yeah, definitely. And I think as a playing group and as leaders, we were pretty disappointed with the way we played against Hawthorn, the way we played in the first half against Gold Coast, and probably the 2 weeks prior to that as well. And it was sort of a little bit of enough is enough. And, let's get back to being the really good, hard team to play against that we have been over the last, 3 years now. So, as I said, we were able to do that against Fremantle, and our challenge now is to do that against Collingwood and West Coast, and then take that into finals.
Your coach suggested after the match, Froggy, that Darcy Gardner's a pretty good chance to come back this weekend. What sort of difference would he make to your team heading into finals?
Yeah, I think Dizzy's one of the most underrated players, certainly at our club. He obviously helps out Harris massively in that, he can play on the best tall forward, or if it's more of a medium, small type, he can also play on that type of player. So, Diz has been out for a long time, so it may not happen straight away for him, but certainly just having him out there, he plays on heart and being competitive. So no matter how rusty he is, what sort of effort you're going to get from him. So, yeah, we're definitely keen to have him back out there, and certainly helps bolster us going forward, looking to finals.
Can you tell us about the trust that you guys in the back line have with him? Because we saw early in the year too, he came straight in off a long layoff, and obviously has everyone's trust and seemed to fit back in straight away.
Yeah, sort of as I said, his game is just based on being really competitive and a prick of a thing to play against. So, he's played 120 games. So he's been a long time player in the back line for us. So, for guys like me and Harris and Richie and Birch, well, probably not so much Birch, but me, Harris and Richie have played a lot of footy with him down back. And so those relationships are there, and the trust is there straight away, and you sort of know exactly what he's going to do. So, certainly exciting for us. And obviously Lockie is hopefully back as well this week. But as we showed on the weekend, it doesn't necessarily, we don't have to have those guys to be competitive and win, but they're certainly going to help us.
I know you won't. You go. Froggy, I was just going to say I'm sure you're not relying on the Gabba factor, but you have only been there twice in, I think, about 10 weeks. What does that mean to you to look like you're going to be able to play at the Gabba again this weekend?
Yeah, Hamo had just mentioned that to me, that we played 2 times in the last 10 weeks. I probably hadn't realised it had been as scarce as that. But, clearly over the last 3 years, we've loved playing at the Gabba. I think we're lucky this week that they're going to let 50% capacity in. So, there's not many games in the season. So we hope to really fill that full 50% capacity, and hopefully we get all the Lions fans out. I know, throughout that 4-week patch where we were up and down in our form, certainly not having the crowd to feed off at times, we probably didn't realise how much energy that provides for us. And so it's really exciting to get back out onto the Gabba and in front of the crowd.
That the last time you played the Pies feels like an eternity ago, when you were supposed to play up here and then it got moved down there. And do you even look back at that game? It's so long ago.
Oh no, I think we would. In fairness, we haven't done Collingwood opposition meeting yet, so I can't sort of guarantee how much the coaches have used of that game. But without knowing, I would suggest we'd sort of look at the way they played that night and see, over the last 4 weeks, how they've sort of been playing, particularly under Robert Harvey, their interim coach. So, but yeah, certainly when we play a side for the second time, there's plenty of things that we take from the first time we played them. Probably similar sort of thing. Early in the year, we were just sort of getting going, and that was a really important win for us. So hopefully on Saturday night, if that's when we're playing them, we'll be able to replicate that again.
We've seen over the last sort of 10 years that finishing in the top 4 is a huge advantage, having that double chance or the ability to go straight through to the prelims. I mean, at the moment, it kind of looks like you're going to finish 5th or 6th without someone else stumbling ahead of you. Do you feel like you guys are primed that you can challenge for that premiership for coming from outside that top 4?
Yeah, no doubt. I think when we won that final, the first final last year, and played in the prelim, it ended up being a lot of time in between games, and so I think we're pretty open to the approach that we might be playing every week for 4 weeks, and every final is going to be a knockout final for us. But certainly, what we produced on the weekend, if we can replicate that over these last this weekend and then next weekend, and take some momentum into finals, we think we're a pretty dangerous side. But clearly, we've got to show that again against Collingwood or whoever we're playing this weekend. And as I said, it's not just going to happen for us. We need to bring the energy and the pressure and intensity that we brought on the weekend.
So you actually think it might even be an advantage, you've got the bye in the last week of the season, and then, if you play that first week, you get another bye and win. So you think it might be an advantage to be able to finish outside the top 4 and then just play every week?
Oh, possibly. I'm not suggesting whether it's an advantage or a disadvantage, but I'm certainly not saying it's impossible. And maybe it's what works. It might work for us. I guess at the end of the day, it's about playing good footy at the right time of the year, and that's what we need to do.